Hi, everyone. I'm Adam Sartain,
I'm Matt Tate.
And I'm Amanda Tregaboff.
and thank you for joining us, Amanda, for our very first Zoom episode of The Geeky Gospel.
And we are followers of Jesus who love nerdy things. And we're going to watch different nerdy things and talk about how they connect to Jesus and relate to Jesus. And so now we're going to watch The Mandalorian, and you're going to see our reactions. And then we'll stop it and pause it and talk about the themes that we find that connect to Jesus throughout that. So episode 1 of The Mandalorian, I should say. And also my head is a giant green screen because I'm bald.
We do have an intro. If you've heard our previous podcast episodes, we do have a very nice musical intro to the show. But yeah, thank you, Matt, for getting us there. And we're just like using the heck out of technology here.
How long is the episode of Mandalorian?
48 minutes.
So we'll have to stop halfway,
Right.
and then start another Zoom meeting. And so I will find a place kind of halfway to go, and that might be
take
episode
a break.
1.
Yeah, podcasts take breaks.
Yeah. So let's
jump in.
Jump in. I'm starting.
This is our reaction to The Mandalorian.
Oh.
And I mean, it just says The Mandalorian, but of course you think Boba Fett, because he's the only Mandalorian we ever knew about. Makachise. I wonder if they actually came up with a language like in Lord of the Rings, or if they
probably did.
Because they're using similar words as like
something that like the Hutts use.
Yeah. So maybe they're using the Hutts language.
Or they just say jibba jab, bloody blop.
Right.
Yeah.
But I distinctly remember Makachise.
It does sound like the Hutts language. It is the Hutts language, I think.
Mm-hmm. They still dominate after episode 6? No.
I mean, uh-oh.
No duh.
I guess he can't read subtitles.
They don't have a word for Beskar in that language. Ooh. Ow, that's gotta hurt.
It really does. I will say it really does say something when your lead actor doesn't say a word.
Ooh.
All actions. It's a good start to the series, I think.
It's builds mystery.
Right.
Mm-hmm. In that Star Wars language, that means wanted.
Okay. Yes, and we should have mentioned Amanda is our resident Star Wars expert.
I've studied the universal language, and that says wanted, so I like to look up this stuff and actually try to read it.
As me and Matt are fans, like in that we've seen a few Star Wars things and we like them, whereas Amanda is like a super fan.
I don't have a doctorate in Star Wars like Amanda does.
Right, right. Like what that?
And there's the television budget a little bit.
Yeah.
hmm What's his problem with droids?
I guess we'll find that out.
Mm-hmm.
Appears not to like them. Or maybe not to trust them.
Mm-hmm.
Intergalactic Uber.
Yeah.
Yep. Very unique ship.
Yep. It's not Slave One, but it'll do.
Mm-hmm.
It does have a similar style, though, if you look at it.
It does.
It does.
I like it better than Slave One.
I mean, isn't that what he's doing right now? Like he's leaving,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a strange thing to say to somebody who's leaving.
right?
Uh-oh.
I mean, you kind of expect something.
Yeah.
It's the camera's looking at him. Okay, he's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
like an ominous thing, like I'd stay off the ice if I were you.
Peril. Oh, look, it's a walrus.
It's like a walrus crocodile or something.
I've seen worse monsters.
I mean, it definitely is on par with the great Star Wars monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's attached itself to the ship. He's got to get rid of it.
Yep. Tearing down the leg. Walrus/hippo, it looks like.
Yeah. But if you look at the back, it's definitely got like crocodile type patterns.
Yeah. Almost. Didn't see any legs, though.
Well, no, I mean, it swims in the cold water underneath the ice.
True.
I think it did have like front flippers or something.
It might have.
What is it with captives trying to make small talk,
That'll bring trouble. Man, a few words.
Although it's a good vehicle to get out exposition without.
Fish creatures or fish people in science fiction are often like the slimy or shady people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, except for The Shape of Water, but that's a different thing.
That's a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Hellboy. Abe Sapien was a good guy.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. I was gonna make a comment how that science fiction is bigoted towards fish people, but apparently not.
No. Just this particular one.
Just this guy.
Just this guy. And I mean, come on. There's also the Mon Calamari with Admiral
It's
Akbar.
a trap. No.
It's a trap.
Yeah, I wonder if this guy is from Admiral Akbar's planet.
No.
No, it's
No?
No.
the Mon Calamari.
He's not a Calamarian, but he could still be from that planet.
No, he's not. There's an episode in Clone Wars where there's two different species. There's the Mon Calamari, and then there's the one with the guy that we just saw got sliced in half. The one with the tentacle face.
Oh yeah.
They both live on the same homeworld water planet.
This is an interesting scene here because it shows. If you guys remember back in Empire, that the freezing and carbonite thing had never been done before.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he's using this proves that it was a proof of concept, freezing Han Solo. Like it got out, oh, you can freeze people in carbonite.
So in Empire, they said that was the first time they've ever done that? That's
what they were hinting at.
Actually, there's a Star Wars Clone Wars episode in the animated series where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka are frozen in carbonite to get into a prison or something like that.
Because the way they hint at it in Empire is that it's never been done before. Maybe that particular person had never done it before.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. But I mean, I think Vader had said something about, or Boba Fett had said something about, what if it doesn't work?
Mm-hmm.
Which leads one to believe that it hadn't been done before.
Well, I'm sure it's risky.
Right.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's so much more prevalent here means that, okay, the experiment worked. And here, I mean, we know it worked, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Paying in flan? Just goes to show, you got an employer, you make an agreement, and then, oh, no, I don't have the money after all.
I can get why he freezes them in carbonite so that he doesn't have to worry about him.
Yep. Stop his yapping. Times are tough for bounty hunters too, man.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Tatooine almost.
It's very Tatooine-esque.
That desert.
I like that guy's hat, though. Very mushroom head.
And then that iDroid was also part of Jabba's palace
Mm-hmm. It was.
in Return of the Jedi.
That'd be a cool thing to have, like on her house. I would like to have one of those.
Instead of Ring,
Instead
they
of Ring,
have those,
yeah.
it just comes right out.
Something that comes out and goes, and it's like, oh, that's I'm here for.
That'll definitely scare the crap out of package thieves, that's for sure. Uh-oh, stormtroopers.
Maybe they're friendly stormtroopers.
They're good guys, stormtroopers.
I can't
Not
believe
that
they
many
got
though.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Empire was defeated.
I can't believe they got him to be in this.
Yep. Did
Whoa.
you guys hear his reaction when they tried to shoot scenes
Yeah.
without the actual, you know?
That is like the coolest thing ever to say.
I like those odds.
If 5,000 credits could uncover fuel, of course.
What I want to know is, where did they get all this money? Well, I mean, they got what they pay in the steel, the Beskar steel. So I guess that's what it. Yep.
It's the new iPod or iPad. I mean, iPhone.
It's the latest iPhone. It's real.
It's the iPhone 25.
Wonder why they need this asset alive.
Mm. Some sort of doctor. And later you realize they only know that data because that's all, or they only can give him that data because that's all they know. And it's interesting how the original Star Wars movies, you don't hear anything about Mandalorian except that Boba Fett wears Mandalorian armor, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of
Quakey and Monkey Lizard.
There he is. Again,
That's what
another
they're called.
Jabba the Hutt, another Jabba the Hutt reference.
Uh-huh. But
Yeah, there's a
Jabba's
lot
dead.
Right.
This is not Tatooine though.
And this is not Tatooine either.
Yeah.
That's strange.
Right.
Ooh.
More
Where's he going?
Tatooinian, I guess. Tatooinian would be the word. Tatooinian decor. Even the kids wear helmets.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
There we go. Symbol of Mandalore. Oh, I guess we don't need to take a break, guys.
Awesome.
No time limit.
Here's the new iPhone.
Then
It has 20
Nice.
cameras.
can I exchange it for?
Look at all the tools they use.
Futuristic blacksmithing tools.
And you would think they would have a new way of doing things by this point.
Well,
making armor.
technically, this was all a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't we all at one point?
She knows him?
I know. Shiny new pauldron.
Only enough for a shoulder pad.
Yep. But that was just the down payment.
That's true.
Just like
How much
the
more
Holy
he'll
Spirit is a down payment of the inheritance of God.
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm.
Only we don't have to like we don't have to catch a bounty or anything.
True.
And he's putting on, he's only putting on a shoulder pad. We can put on the full armor of God.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of our down payment.
A small fraction.
And even we can sponsor even more foundlings.
So that they can get the full armor.
Yep, that's right, guys. This is the part of the episode where we finally start talking Jesus.
Let's actually take a pause here
Yeah.
and talk about the armor of God and talk about also the Spirit, what it means to be adopted into God's family.
To be a
and
foundling.
to be a foundling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so there's a few themes here. The spirit of adoption. So obviously, the Mandalorian is an orphan or foundling, and that he is.
His parents were killed.
I'm assuming his parents died. I haven't seen the whole series, but so he somehow to his parents, and now he's lost. And I think often, why do we connect to these ideas or these stories of the orphan? And I think it's because inside we are all seeking, even those of us who have come from good families, there's something in us that's broken because we're separated from the one true family, or that's being in the family of God,
Right.
As Jesus as our as the head of our family. And I think that idea of being adopted into that family, and then that's why we connect to stories of adoption. Because even though not, even if you're not an orphan, you still connect to that story of not belonging, because
Right.
we all feel that we don't belong, and we're seeking that, and that the only way to fulfill that is to enter into the family of God.
Especially those of us who are considered nerds.
Especially those of us who are considered nerds.
Yes.
And especially, back before nerd culture became prevalent and became accepted, back
But no,
in my
even
day.
I would always say that a nerd is someone who is, at some point in their life, has been excluded, left out, on the outside looking in. And so my answer to is, can just nerds come? Yes, but stop acting like you're not a nerd. So we're all nerds in
Right.
that
Yeah.
sense, and so it's that taking the posture of humility and saying, at some level inside of us says, I don't belong.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yep.
Mandalorian, he's a bounty hunter, and he doesn't belong. He goes from place to place, but it's his profession of choice, but that puts him in a place of, I don't belong. And I imagine through the series, I haven't seen it yet, I'm assuming that he's going to be looking for belonging. As we go through our lives, we look for belonging.
Right. So back to the topic we were talking about, because we just saw a scene where the Mandalorian was getting a new armor piece. So we're talking about the whole armor of God, which for those who aren't Bible scholars and don't remember these things, that's in Ephesians chapter 6, starting in verse 10. And it says, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might, put on the whole armor of God, that
not just the shoulder pad.
Right, not just the pauldron, but the whole armor of God.
Yeah.
And it's definitely stronger than Beskar steel, I would say.
Yes.
And then it lists the different parts of the armor of God. So there's the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, the readiness given by the gospel, the shield of faith. Then there's the helmet of salvation, which I also think you should never take off like a Mandalorian. You should just leave that helmet of salvation on. Yeah. And then it's interesting how they include this with the armor, but there's the sword of the Spirit, which, swords are normally offensive weapons, but they can be used as defensive weapons as well.
Yeah.
What I love about that verse is that it's the nerdiest verse in the Bible.
Yeah.
It sounds like a deity character you're creating. It's like, but I think that's also why the D&D stuff. Yeah.
Paladin wearing your armor.
Here's your your helmet of salvation. That gives you 3 armor class.
+3 to and the sword of the Spirit, which is +2 to attack and cannot be charmed.
Let's get back into the show.
Yes. Let's jump back in and continue watching The Mandalorian.
That does not look tasty.
Nope. That is an ugly looking creature. They look like land piranhas almost. Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Well, that flamethrower didn't quite help him there, did it? I think almost any giant animal or deadly animal, if you punch it in the eye, it's going to hurt it.
Yeah, punching in the eye is always a good tactic.
Yeah.
Oh, he got saved.
Yeah, but by whom? By whom?
That guy's riding one of them.
Yeah. Another explanation than that.
I'd like to be placed in a position in life where I can be that cool and just like,
I have spoken.
yeah.
Yep.
With that type of authority.
Yeah.
Yes, like the board game is over.
Yeah.
I have spoken.
I have spoken. But we haven't finished it yet. I have spoken. Is this just because you're losing? I said I have spoken.
I have spoken. What part of I have spoken did you not understand?
They're called blurgs.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's going in my back pocket. I just like,
Oh yeah, no, like that's definitely been out in the memes now since this came out.
Mm-hmm. Happy thought.
I mean, that guy is really low key the best character in the entire series.
Mm-hmm. Oh, can he stay on?
Like, he hasn't even said his name yet, and it's like, no, he's the best character. Of course, we still don't know the name of the Mandalorian either.
No.
Kind of called him out right there.
Seriously.
Be like, what? You two chicken?
Trying to establish a connection.
Yeah. You're doing it.
This reminds me of How to Train Your Dragon when Hiccup is reaching out his hand towards Toothless.
Yep.
Touching his nose.
He's a blurg whisperer.
He's a blurg whisperer. All it took was just a little challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, well, now he can do it. Never mind training for, like, oh, he fell off a couple times. Oh, you can do it. Oh, I guess I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really buying into that they really needed the blurg. I guess to jump over the little things there is why they needed a blurg.
Right. There's gaps that are too big for the speeders. Plus, it's cooler to ride a giant animal.
For a Mandalorian, he's pretty nice and kind.
Well, he's killed at least one person in the show already.
That's a merc for you.
I know, but he's, trying to pay him back for his generosity.
Right.
Any other bounty hunter would have been like, okay, bye,
He may be
cared.
a bounty hunter. He may be a mercenary, but he's a mercenary with a code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's just waiting there?
He's not going to go down there.
Well, yeah. I thought he was just going to go back home.
Some things never change.
Oh, droid.
Oh, look, IG-88.
Yeah. He's been talking this entire time. Just walks in.
Ow. Well, they regrouped.
I get that was yeah.
He's got a stormtrooper blaster and like another kind of blaster. It looks like.
Yeah, IG.
See, what I want to know is because there's stories about IG-88. I mean, it's a robot, it's a droid, but like it's a model of droid.
Mm-hmm.
There was an IG-88 in Empire, but is this the same IG-88?
Yeah. Oh, trying to hotwire a door.
Yep.
Oh, that's not good.
Bring in the big guns. It's interesting how
Ooh.
I mean, a lot can be said about this scene about not giving up, you know,
Mm-hmm.
about even when the enemy takes their biggest weapon, you use the enemy's weapon against them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joshua chose select men, and instead of having the biggest army.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's just use the big gun they left us.
The big giant gun. That's one way to do it.
Dunk. Nice. Anyone else? Does anybody else want to, I don't know, lay down their guns and pretend to be dead? Because that's how you're going to end up. Oh.
Little egg thingy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, small.
What's in there? Mm-hmm, that's true.
And it's Baby Yoda.
And
Baby Yoda.
it's a Baby Yoda.
Yep, terminated. Again.
But he gets more pay if he brings it in alive.
That is true. He's a bounty hunter with a code.
Oh.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
That was awesome.
Not
That-
bad,
you've seen it-
Mr. Favreau.
That theme music, though, is amazing.
You've seen this already, correct, Amanda?
Oh, yes. I've seen the whole first season.
Yeah, same.
How many times?
All the way through just once.
Same.
This is my first time. That was pretty great. So the second half, what themes are we thinking?
Well, again, there's the thing of not giving up. I think is a big theme in the face of adversity. He faced some pretty, especially with the creatures riding the thing. He didn't give up there. He didn't give up when it looked impossible. He kept going.
Mm-hmm. He kept persevering. He kept pushing through no matter how difficult the situation was or how difficult the battle was.
And he used the enemy's weapons against the enemy.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that was
Right.
one of my favorite parts of this episode, where he goes out on a limb to get that one guy off that weapon so that he could use it against them, because he was completely surrounded. There was no way him and the droid would have lasted much longer, even with the armor he had on.
So how
Right.
often does God do that when the enemy attacks us with something, and God ends up using it for good?
Yeah, I really like for this. I really like the verse in Romans 5, which starts in verse 3. And not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance. Endurance produces character. Character produces hope.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because
So,
people are defined by their character, and if you don't face trials, if you don't face anything that challenges you, how are you going to grow as a person?
because
We
I
just
think
go through the same walk of life over and over. We're just going through the same old thing. We're not growing. We're not going anywhere. We're just the same old person that we were like 10 years ago. Like, no.
Is the Mandalorian growing as a person?
It's hard to tell, but it seems it in this first one a little bit. I think so. Yeah, because at first he was about to give up. He was about, trying to find another route. He didn't want to use the blurg. He wanted to find a speeder.
Mm-hmm.
But then he was challenged. It's like, come on, you're a Mandalorian, you can do this. And then he was like, okay. And he tames the blurg.
Mm-hmm.
So God puts things in our path to challenge us and to grow us, such as riding a blurg, being outnumbered by enemies with blasters.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times this week I had to ride like 3 blurgs this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough. Everybody, the key thing to remember here is that everybody experiences challenges in life, hard times, suffering. But the question is, do we face it, or how do we react? How do we respond? Do we face it and keep going, or do we shy back or turn away or give up?
Well, there's many times in this episode where the Mandalorian could have said, "This is not worth it."
Yeah.
And give it up and said, "No, I'm just going to go after the small change bounties
that barely cover gas."
But that way, how often in life do we do that, though? How often do we go, "I'm not going to pursue the bigger dream or the bigger thing because I know I can do this, A, B, and C. It's easier. I'm just going to do this thing. I'm not going to go after the bigger bounty."
Very
and
true.
God always wants to go after the bigger thing, the grander thing.
Always.
Yeah.
And
he has plans for us, and some of those plans include us taking up bigger challenges as we grow. So when we're younger, we take the little steps, we take the baby steps. And as we get older and grow wiser, and as we grow closer to him, he will let loose some bigger challenges that we'll face and that we can use to grow in character. And he's not going to put anything in our way that we can't handle. He'll always give us he'll always give us something that he knows we can handle,
like giant walrus monsters and blurgs and other
and big old guns.
Yeah, I think the Mandalorian has grown from when he was a child in those flashbacks to where he is now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You see him as a defenseless kid who's being protected by his parents, and then you see him in this episode where he's fighting other bounty hunters, and he's standing up for himself, and he's taking on those challenges like head on.
So the way I think we're gonna do this, we're getting close to an hour here.
Let's wrap it up.
So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Again, thank you, Amanda, for joining us, being our very first guest of the show.
Joining us. And
our resident Star Wars expert. We'll definitely bring you in for more Star Wars stuff.
We'll keep watching The Mandalorian, and we'll be watching other stuff, nerdy stuff, and keep watching. And we'll hope you enjoyed it. And comment below, subscribe, and all those good things. Thumbs up.
Yes, please.
Let us know what you would like for us to talk about and watch.
Yeah, if you've got a suggestion, we'll definitely look into it.
And This is The Geeky Gospel, and I'm Matt Tate.
And I'm Adam.
And I'm Amanda.
All right.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.